Okay, our main topic today is email tips and tricks 2. So we'll get to that. A little bio on myself. I'm the son of Tom Kreuzer here at Carondelet, and we're welcoming John back. He fell and had a hip fracture there, and now he's in the care unit, but he's glad to be back here. I retired after 40 years at 3M in the information technology area, and I'm an officer and presenter for the 3M Personal Computing Club for over 40 years, and I continue to give presentations. At its peak, we have 1,200 members. I do give free computer help, so questions or things like that, let me know, and on the back of the page, there's my email address. You can contact me. I do mention I'm thrifty, not cheap, so if there's an inexpensive way to accomplish something, or free software, or a free site, I usually recommend those. Okay, I usually give these once a month. The next one is going to be July 31st, and it'll be on the best phone and tablet apps. So I'll go over hundreds of apps in all these different categories. I won't show everyone, but I'll talk about a number of them that are my favorites, and it's a good list there too. If you're looking to do something on your phone or tablet, it's a good resource to find something to download and try there. Also, along with my sister and brother-in-law Gary that's here, and my dad, we put on a Fix-It clinic. We usually do that every couple of months. And our next one is going to be July 22nd. So if you have lamps, electronics, furniture, fans, anything that's broken, or even if it's a quick question on a tablet or a phone or that, you're welcome to sign up for one of the slots. They're 15-minute slots. And since there's 2 of us, we do it for 2 hours. So we've got we can accommodate quite a few people there. We can accommodate, about 30 people or so. Also, I mentioned here, I am recording this, and the handouts, I put them out on the Carondelet website. So if you've missed a presentation or just want to revisit a past presentation, you can go out to the Carondelet website, and there's a link called Tech Help. And in there you can see the calendar, the resources, and information. Okay, let's get to our main topic today, which is email tips and tricks 2. Let's go through here. Use the following information, tips, and tricks to take control of your email and make life easier on all of your devices. We covered the basic fields that you have in email and the folders in email in the first presentation I did back in April of 2024. So that was called Email Tips and Tricks. This one is the second. We're continuing on talking about some more tips in that we did. And if you did miss the first one, you can go out to the website. Also, I do have a few handouts from the first presentation. You can pick one of those up after the meeting if you want. I'll be talking about and showing Gmail, but most providers, and so if you use Microsoft Outlook or Hotmail or Apple Mail, all have similar features and functions. So they may be in a slightly different place, but they all have the same functionality. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat. See if it goes away here. These are some tips when you're creating an email. I mentioned this last time in April, but it's worth mentioning again. You have to decide when to send an email, and you should use a text or an SMS message instead of sending an email for short communications that can be done in 1 or 2 messages to 1 to 4 people, and that time is sensitive. I always tell people, don't expect an immediate reply to an email because many people only read their emails once or twice a day. I'm one of those people. I turn off, and I'll talk about that later, I turn off notifications, so when I get new emails, my phone isn't dinging and my machine isn't digging. I go out once or twice a day and check the email. If you have a message that you want to get to somebody right away, phone is always the best way to communicate, especially if it's with a limited number of people that you're dealing with. Let me go here. On a phone or tablet, you can use the share option to create an email that will link and send things that are currently viewed. So whether it's things like a photo, a video, a screenshot, or a file, it's usually better to send a link to somebody than it is to send the entire photo or video in an email. Another tip here is when you're putting text in an email, it's usually better to just do what's called plain text or unformatted text. So let's do a quick little demo of that. So if I am, let me go over here. So let's say we have this text here and I want to send this text to somebody. And if I want to send this text to somebody, I can highlight this and I can copy it. Do a Control-C, that copies it. Now if I go to my email and I'm going to compose, and let's say I want to paste it in down here, I can paste it in, and if I paste it in here, you'll see it has the blue text, it has the graphics, it has this stuff. Well, this just takes up a whole bunch of space. Maybe I don't need that. Maybe it would have been better for me to make it as simple as possible. And the way I can make that simple is I can right mouse click. You'll see there's an option that says paste as plain text. When I paste as plain text, here's the plain text. Now it makes it easier for me to maybe edit this a little bit. So if I wanted to send this to somebody, there, I can very easily, instead of that whole graphics and text and colors and things like that, I've simplified it there. Okay. You can use groups or distribution lists when you're sending it to multiple people. You can set up your groups in your contacts. And we talked about managing your contacts before, but everybody that you deal with should be set up in your contacts, and that's a great place to keep information about people. Keep your email short. Nobody has the time to read long emails. So some people like to write a lot and that, but really most people would prefer the concise version as small as possible for them to read and to respond back. Use a short, meaningful subject. When you're replying, if the original email that you're replying to, the subject doesn't pertain to what you're going to reply about, consider changing the subject. Because you don't want to have a subject of an email and they're talking about, excuse me, they're talking about going, let's say, to a baseball game, and you're replying and you're saying, well, are you going to the art fair? Well, you can change the title or the subject to who's going to the art fair, or do you want to go to the art fair? If copying a link from an email or a website, it usually has tracking information in the URL. Only copy the info up to the /?. That probably sounds a bit confusing there, so let's go over here. Get rid of this one. So let's say, let's see, where is one here? Let's go. So if I'm going to click on an article in here, this article in here, when I go to it, this one's a bad example here. Let me go back here. Where am I here? See now. Find one here. Let's go. So this is an example. If I clicked on a link in an email, you can see this link is very, very long here. Contains a lot of text in here. Well, a lot of this text is what's called tracking information, to track your email, where it came from, what email was sent out. And if you're sending it to somebody else, you don't have to include all that. So usually what I do when I send it to people is I go into this, and you'll see there's the question mark there. I'll just copy this portion and send that to somebody. And they'll get the same article, but it won't have all that tracking information. So when they click on it, it's just going to go to this site, which is directly to the information without any of the tracking information. Okay, the next tips are for reducing the amount of email that you have. And if your inbox is filled with hundreds or even thousands of emails, ask yourself, will I ever reply to emails that are older than a week or a month? If not, delete them. Don't keep things around. You don't have to keep things around there. You can unsubscribe from emails from legitimate companies. Or if you're getting political advertisements with the election coming up, or newsletters that you don't read or want, the cleanest way to get off of a list is to use the built-in unsubscribed option that's usually at the bottom of the email. Gmail puts its own unsubscribe link at the top of the message, right next to the address of the sender's email. It can take up to a month before you stop getting new emails. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've got a cough drop now, so that should get rid of the tickle there. So it can take a while to after you unsubscribe. It's not immediate that you'll stop getting emails there. If the unsubscribe does not work, you can always block the sender or create a filter to move incoming mail into your trash folder. So let's take a quick look at that. So we'll go back here, and we're back to my inbox here. And let's say this Excel Energy. And Excel Energy has this, and usually at the bottom of the email you'll see things like customer support, privacy, or unsubscribe. I can click on this to unsubscribe if I don't want to see the Excel emails anymore. Now if we look up at the top here, actually Google put a button up here for unsubscribing also. So on a lot of emails, if you want to unsubscribe, if they haven't unsubscribed anywhere in the entire email, you'll be able to click up here and unsubscribe from it. And that's true of a lot of emails. So like this, you'll see there's another unsubscribe. But if it's a personal email from somebody, you aren't going to see an unsubscribe. And at the bottom, you won't see an unsubscribe or anything like that there also. And
what do you do with those?
Excuse me?
What do you do with those when you can't unsubscribe?
The valid companies are going to let you unsubscribe. And this is where it goes back to, and I'll talk in the next tip or that about scams or that you don't want to click on things. But if it's a valid company, like Excel, like a Cub, like a political campaign, if you unsubscribe, they have to take you off the list. If they don't take you off the list and you continue to get emails from them, you can actually sue them for, I believe it's like $200 an email that you get. So, and people have done that. There's people that make a living off of companies that don't take them off their list. But most of the companies are good and will remove you from the list. So unsubscribing is the first thing, and don't just go in here and say, well, I really never read this from Excel Energy. I just delete it every time. Well, if you delete it every time, there's no sense you getting them. So unsubscribe so that you don't get them. And if in the future you ever do want to get them, you can usually go out to the Excel website and change your preferences to now get the emails if you want to get emails. But unsubscribe works probably 90+% of the time. Okay? Okay, also to reduce emails, this is what we were just talking about. Never try and unsubscribe from spam emails. So it's somebody trying to get you to invest in cryptocurrency or it's a scam of some sort. You don't want to click on anything in those emails. So spam is usually from an illicit sender trying to get you to click on a link or a button. If you do click on and unsubscribe from a scammer, that usually will only make your situation worse with more emails and possibly even a virus. Click from you marks you as a target because now the scammer knows that you're reading your emails and you're clicking on things in there. So if you know that it's a scam, you can mark the message as spam so that in the future your email will automatically move these emails into your spam folder. If that doesn't work, you can also block individual senders if the mark as spam does not work. On desktop or mobile, when you're going into your email, select the 3-dot menu next to the reply arrow button, and I'll show you that on the message, and select block. Any future messages from this email address will then be sent directly to your spam folder. Some spam is sent with a different email each time, so blocking individual ones may not work, but that's usually the first attempt. So let's pretend that this Excel message here I thought was a scam, and I can go in here, and if I click in here, there's the 3 dots. Now you do have multiple 3 dots, so you'll see this is the 3 dots right next to the reply. And you'll see there's various things that I can do with this. I can reply to this email, I can forward it, I can also delete it, but here's those things that we just talked about. I can report this as spam, or I could block Excel Energy from any of them showing up in my inbox. So this is where you have control over what comes into your email and what's available there. So that's the easiest way to do that. And I've opened up the email, and now I have these various options there for me to use.
Scott?
Yes.
Can you click 2 of them?
You can do them one at a time, so you can't click 2 things at once. So if I wanted to come in here, I could say report this as spam. That kind of sets it up so that next time an email comes in that looks like this, possibly from the same sender or possibly with the same subject or things like that, it would immediately go to my spam folder. But I could also mark it as blocking Excel Energy any of their emails from coming in. Okay?
You have to open the 3 dots
Yes, yes, because if I clicked on report as spam, this would go away. The email would still stay here, so then I could choose the block, or if I wanted to forward it or do anything, I could do anything with this email. But you can do that. Okay? You can also, more advanced, and a lot of people don't do this, but there are options in all these different emails to create what are called filters, and that allows you to filter out emails or select them and send them to certain folders. And it's not that hard to create filters, but that's a little more advanced feature there. Okay, now let's talk about search and delete tips for your email. When searching for something, it usually only searches in the folder that you have open. So if you want to search and you're not sure what folder you have it in, or is it in the spam, have I moved it out of the inbox into my own folder, where is it, you usually want to search in the all mail. That shows you all of your inbox, your trash, and your spam. And actually it's a bit misleading because it isn't all your mail. It's not showing you what was in your sent folder. And frequently I may have sent a note to somebody and I'm looking for it and I go, oh, I'm not finding it in my all mail, but it's because that piece of mail is only in my sent folder. In the search, click the filter button to show the advanced search options that you can use. Well, we'll take a look at that in a second here. We'll talk about all the options. If the basic search doesn't find what you want, then you can use the advanced search. So let's go there. And so you'll see the searches up on top here. And this is searching in my mail. And let's say I wanted to search for eBay. I wanted to search for eBay. And here's anything in here that pertains to eBay, that came from eBay. Orders that I've made, some things like that. But if I wanted to do a more advanced search, you'll see this little graphic right here is show search options. This gives you a screen. You can sort, or you can search by who it was sent from, who it was going to, the subject, has these words, doesn't have these words, the size of the email is so big, the date only within the last 5 days, I could search there, or the last week. I can use these advanced searches here to easily, and then you'll see here, it lets me select, do I want the all, or do I want to select an individual folder there to search from. So you can search and find your stuff pretty easily. So you can use the basic search. If it finds what you want, that's great. If it doesn't, click on the more advanced search here for this full list of options there. Okay. Okay, back here. To select multiple messages in Gmail, click the checkbox that's on the left side of the email list. You can use the upper left corner checkbox to select all messages on the page. This is a bit misleading because the page, depending on what you have in your settings for Gmail, may be from 10 to 100 emails. It doesn't select all the emails that you have. If you want all the emails visible on a page or not, you want to check the box and look for the link at the top of the results that says select all XX conversations and folder. That probably sounds a little complex there. It really isn't complex. So let's go to a folder where I have a bunch of emails here. So here's where I keep receipts. So whenever I buy stuff or where stuff went or stuff like that, I've got 173 emails in this folder. And it's only showing me, if I scroll up and down, this is 1 to 100, the first 100 emails in this list. Let's say I wanted to delete all of these. Well, I could go here and I could select this. This selected, but you can see it's even telling me it's selected 100 messages. The first 100 messages in here are selected. But it's telling me here that it didn't select the ones that I'm not seeing. There's 73 other ones that are there. If I want to select them all, I can click on this, and now it's selected all 173. If I wanted to delete it, I just click the delete, and I could get rid of all 173 messages there. And if I just wanted to get rid of a couple, so let's say I no longer need this, I can go here, I can mark several of them. They don't have to be in a row. I can mark as many as I want, click on the delete, and get rid of individual messages that way. So does that make sense then? Okay. Usually you want to sort things by maybe a sender or a subject to make it easier to select them and then delete them. Unfortunately, most of the mail systems don't have a sort. So really your only option there is to use the search to search like I did for eBay. If I wanted to search for my eBay items, I could search by who the sender was, eBay, and then I could select the ones that I wanted that way. So using a search and then selecting what you want. So let's go back here quick, and let's say I wanted to delete a whole bunch that were eBay. I can go here and I can say, has the word eBay anywhere in it? And let's do a search. So these are all the items. I have 82 items that were from eBay there. I can select them all this way. I can do a delete. And this would work too if you had a whole bunch of, let's say, political campaign information or companies that had sent you stuff that you hadn't unsubscribed from. You could easily delete all of those pretty fast there. Okay. This is a tip here with the search and delete. A new contact can be created by moving your mouse over the sender in the list of emails. And so I mentioned before that it's useful to the people that you communicate with to create contact information for them and to put them in groups and things like that. And one of the ways to do that, let's go back here, and I'm going to clear some of what I got here, and let's go back up to my inbox. And here's a case here, like if I hover over here, this person, Mike, is already in my contact list, and I have a picture for him. And on my phone, the picture shows up and things like that. But you can see as I hover over here, the option here, there is an option if I wanted to edit my contact right here. I could edit Mike's information and update it. Here's a person that I don't have in my contacts, Jenna Straight. So you can see here, it says, do you want to add her in your contacts? All I have to do is click here. Now she's added to my contacts. If I want to change information for Jenna, I can go to my contacts and change it, or I can go here and, let me do this. We have to refresh it. If we refresh this, that should, oh. I'm not sure. Jenna should show up as edit. I should be able to edit her. But that's the way that you can edit or go to your contacts and you can change it that way. So it's quite easy to add people that you don't have in your contacts or to change information that is there. Gmail gives you 15 gigabytes of free space. That's for your emails, your photos, your documents. Keeping emails with large file attachments or thousands of emails will consume your free 15 gigabytes of space. Google is more than willing to sell you more space, and that starts at $1.99 a month for an additional 100 gigabyte. I recommend just getting rid of the stuff because most people don't need it, never look at it. They're just haven't gotten around to deleting or organizing their emails. So if you go through and delete and organize, you can usually get rid of things. You can also just search for the large emails to get rid of things. So let's just quickly go out here. Let's use the search again up here. I can go here, and it's a case of I can say, show me all the emails that are greater than 10 megabit in size there. And there's a list of emails that I have that have an attachment that's greater than 10 megabits in size. So you can sort, and you could then highlight those and delete them to free up space. Yes?
Can you use a year as a...
Yes, the question was, can you use a year? So let's go back here and let's use this search here. So I can say, you mean size and year? So I could say greater than 10 megabits, and it has to be within the last year. And these are the emails that are within the last year that are 10 megabits in size. So you can usually get a list of whatever, and if I wanted to delete all these, I could highlight them and then delete them. Okay. Sent emails. So sent emails will remain in your Gmail or whatever email system forever. I usually have fun with this one when somebody is running out of space. I'll go out and I'll say, oh, let's take a look at your sent folder. And if they've had a Gmail account or any account for a number of years, they're going to have thousands of emails that they may have sent over the years, and every single one is out there. They don't disappear after 90 days. There's no automatic feature or function to get rid of them. So I usually, one of the first things I clean up is go through and get rid of the old sent, because especially things that are several years old, you don't need them anymore. Okay. If an email contains a photo, video, or file that you like, I recommend that you save it to your device and then delete the email. So people will send photos to people and they just keep it in the email. Well, that's not a good way to organize your photos in that. And so here's an example here. I just created a little sample here with a couple of emails. So here's a couple of photos that were sent in an email here. Well, this is no way to organize your photos. So you should be using a package on your tablet or on your phone or on your PC to organize it. And what you want to do if you need these photos is you want to download it. So if I download this, that downloads it to my PC. I can put it in the proper folder and in my photo package and manage it that way. So that's usually what you want to do there with photos or videos or other documents that may have been sent to you, especially when they're taking up large amounts of space up there. Oh. I don't know why that one didn't go through these. I didn't build it. Turn off the notifications. I mentioned that I check my... let me see here. Let's go back. Yeah, I guess the build on here in PowerPoint, it's showing all the deals at once. So we'll go through them one at a time. Turn off notifications. I check my emails 2 to 3 times a day, and because I don't want to get notified whenever something new comes in. Do not let your devices control you. You control your devices. So, while we're up here, I wasn't getting all kinds of dings of new emails coming in. That's because I turned off the notifications. I never get a ding whenever a new email comes in because I don't consider them that important. I consider a text message or a telephone call important, so I'll get those, but emails, no, I'll get to it when I get to it. I mentioned here, watch for scam emails, or review the past meeting slides that we've had, and we talked about it in January and July on scams. I also mention this because I do see this with people who've been using an email package for a number of years now, and we're all older here, so most of you have been using it for years and years and years, these different packages. Well, you may have started out with a package like Outlook that's on your personal computer. And then you have the dial-up line where it connect to American Online or CompuServe or these different services. And Outlook was a good package when that's the way that you connected and sent and received mail. Now we do things differently, so I don't recommend that people use the Outlook package on their laptop or on their desktop. I recommend that they go out to the Outlook or Hotmail site in their browser and use that. That way you don't have to have software on your machine, and you'll have 100 times less problems with your email if you do it through the browser than doing it through Outlook there. And I mentioned here, this solution, the Outlook, worked well when we had slow internet connections, usually dial-up, and you only use your email on one device. Today, we use our email on usually multiple devices, a computer, a smartphone, a tablet, and we want to keep all those in sync. And we've got constant connections to the internet, so there's really no reason to use a package like Outlook. You can still, if I want to go out to and I do have an old Microsoft account, if I want to go out to my Microsoft account, there's my Outlook Hotmail, and I'm accessing it through the browser. I guess I've been in here for a while. I'd have to sign in. But I can access it through here. I don't have to be using Outlook or have the software Outlook on my laptop there. Okay, I mentioned here you can create an extra email account that you can use to sign up for sites that aren't important to you and that may send you spam. An extra email can also be used as a security backup for your main account for two-factor authentication and some other things. So it's usually a good idea and for a number of people to have a second email account. You could have two email accounts in Gmail. You could have one in Microsoft Outlook and one in Gmail or one in Apple Mail. You can have accounts anywhere that you want. You can create templates or canned responses for anything that you send over and over again. And we talked a little bit about that in the first email. Also, if you're not familiar, if you do have the multiple accounts, you can add those multiple accounts to one account so that you can open one account and see all your mail in one spot instead of having to open up each one separate. So it is possible to show them all and do that. Another thing I'll mention, what Gmail offers, and a lot of them do, is what's called confidential mode. It does give you control over who can see your info on an email that you send, or for how long the message is available. So you can put an expiration date on the email where it automatically disappears. Yeah, you can do that. You can turn it on by clicking the confidential mode lock at the bottom of the compose window. You'll get options to set up expiration dates for the message. After this date, it disappears. and things like that can be used. Smart reply, this is somewhat tied to a little bit of artificial intelligence that they built into the mail system. Whenever you get an email, so let's go back here quick, close this. Whenever you get an email, you'll see it puts some canned responses, and I can pick one of these canned responses, and it'll do a reply and put that in there. And so it makes it easy to send it to somebody, back to somebody. So I can say, oh, instead of me having to type that, I can do this. You can see it puts that in there. If everything looks okay, I just click the send, and it's done sending it. So that can save you and keep the messages short and stuff like that. You can delegate somebody else to share control of your account, like a significant other or a family member. So if you do have an executor or somebody in the family that you want to monitor things, you can go into your account in the settings, and you can grant access to your account to other accounts so that they can see and things there. If you go to the path above and find a delegate that you didn't authorize, change it immediately. That's a sign that you may have been hacked. If you see somebody else's email in there and you never set it up, that's what a hacker will do, is kind of take over your email by setting themselves up as a delegate there. I don't recommend using some of these email features that you'll find in Gmail and other systems. One is it's called an archive. I don't recommend the archive. I personally don't see a use for it. But if you do, I guess I create my folders like we talked about in April, and I organize my things with the folders there. I also don't recommend using a feature called snooze. Snooze is an option where you can temporarily remove the email, and it'll come back at a future date, or if they send another email, it'll come back. I don't recommend the snooze. I'm a person of read an email once, figure out what to do, delete it, file it, move on. When you mute a message, so you do have an option to mute a message, any replies stay out of your inbox. You can search for the conversation if you want to find it again. So let's say you were getting a group email from somebody, or from this group, and you didn't want to see all the responses because you weren't reading them anyway. You can do what's called mute. I don't recommend it, but it is one way to limit what you get there. Okay, that's it for the tips. Questions, comments? Yes?
You mentioned pasting instead of PC right click. What about tablet? Does tablet have an option for that?
A good question. So when I was talking about pasting here, on a PC you have the mouse buttons to use. On a tablet or a phone, what you have is you have your finger. And the finger, the right mouse click, you don't have a right and a left per se, but if I hold my finger down, a menu will pop up, and that's what you can use to usually do the options, like the paste is plain text.
Where do you hold your finger?
What's that?
Where do you hold your finger?
So if this was my screen, I just push and hold my finger right on the screen at the point that I wanted to insert the text there. And it again somewhat depends on the package that you're using. Most packages work this way, some packages don't. So if you're familiar with the copy and the paste and things like that, usually it works pretty consistently on a number of packages, but it may not work the same on all of them. Okay? But yeah, once you've got it, it's in the clipboard, paste as plain text, and then it comes in there. Other questions or comments? Yeah, a lot of different things. I went over them pretty fast. I don't expect everybody to remember it, but you can look back on the handout and then try some things as you're in your email and doing things. Because don't let your email get real cluttered. Create the folders. We had talked about in April how you can organize things similar to a file cabinet. When you get in emails that you do want to keep, don't just keep everything in your inbox. Move it to a folder that you can find later and do some things. So there's ways to organize and there's ways to control what's going on there. And if you do start controlling it, you'll find that you don't spend as much time in your email. It's when you kind of got thousands of emails and you're trying to find things or scroll through it, or I thought this was out here, that's where a person can waste a lot of time and not be able to find things. But if you control it, you can save yourself some time and some aggravation and get control back of your email. Other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no, it was